All right. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Daily December 2019, day 7, and I'm actually recording it on the 7th. I might even get it uploaded on the 7th, depending on how YouTube likes me. So, today, um, I, I, I'm, I'm, I'm not having a good day today. So, I'm going to try and and talk about something I've used to help with my anxiety, my depression. Uh, I, um, I've used. I used to keep old episodes on while I was writing one shots for my parody games. And tonight, their latest uh, um, adventure was broadcast from PAX Unplugged. I'm talking, of course, of Acquisitions Incorporated. Anyone that watches my channel, um, y- y- you know I'm into D&D, and I have been for a while, even before I knew what D&D what was. As I started on the computer, and then books, uh, then I found Inc. If you don't know, Acquisitions Incorporated is a live D&D show that's been going on for over a decade. It predates Critical Role. It predates, I think, High Rollers, Saving Throw. It was the first really big. I'm actually going to check. See if there's a. It doesn't help me. And anyway, so sorry. I was trying to see when it started. Apparently, Saving Throws started in 2013, which is a few years after Acquisitions Incorporated. So I think it's pretty safe to say they were the first live RPG show, and they started as a podcast. The first season was just Mike Krahulik, Jerry Holkins, and Scott Kurtz, playing fourth edition, which had just come out. And it was hilarious. They did Keep on the Shadowfell, I think, and had a blast. The second season was another podcast. They added Will Wheaton into the mix, and again, it was hilarious. His character Aofel is still my favorite intern, even though I'm fairly certain there is zero chance will ever come back. Um, the third season was another podcast, and these came out basically once a year. But the fourth season, they did live at PAX, and they were they were at a real simple table. They were in like just a small room. There couldn't have been more than maybe 50 to 100 seats in there. Like, it was small, and they played it live and recorded it, and it got popular. And then the next year they were in a theater, and the next year, and it just kept going and getting cooler and more interesting and more extravagant. They started cosplaying, and they started doing it more than just at PAX Prime, which is now PAX West. They started doing it at PAX East, then started having games at PAX South, and then PAX Unplugged, and they even do episodes that aren't full-on acquisitions incorporated. I think they did a Star Wars one at PAX Australia this past year. But it's this phenomenon, and it was the first live play. It was the first time that Chris Perkins had the thought, but basically that D&D can be a spectator's sport. It's fun to watch people have fun with their friends, and it laid the groundwork for, like I said, saving throw and counter role play, critical role, dice camera action, LA by night, Seattle by night, but basically all of Hyper RPG's programming, and the majority of Geek and Sundry's programming for a while. Like, that's it. It's this amazing thing that I love every episode. Jeremy Crawford DMs it now, since Chris Perkins stepped it down, which sucks. I mean, Jeremy's great, don't get me wrong, but Chris Perkins is Chris Perkins. Like, I almost had a chance to play at one of his tables, because he used to run tables at Gamehole Con in Wisconsin, and back when I was a local coordinator, I used to help out with Gamehole Con, and I think he still comes to Gamehole every year. I don't know if he runs tables anymore, but I've met the guy. He's the nicest guy in the world. I met him at Gen Con, and I noticed him because he was wearing a D&D hat, and I was walking around this thing called a night in Baldur's Gate. They took this upper ballroom of a hotel and turned it into Baldur's Gate. Like they had all these faux buildings, and there's a big old sword and a big old cake with Drizzt picture on it. This is like the 20th anniversary, and I was just walking around. I didn't know anybody, but I saw Chris, and I recognized him from Acquisitions Incorporated. And I went up to him very shyly, and I said, "Hi, are you Chris Perkins?" He's like, "Well, yes, I am." I'm like, "Oh, I'm such a big fan of yours." He's like, "Oh, it's great to meet you. What's your name?" And I said, "Well, my name's Jody." And you know, I started playing D&D because of Acquisitions Incorporated, which is somewhat true. Like I said, I've been playing D&D games since I was 4 or 5. But actual tabletop Acquisitions Incorporated is what gave me the passion to do it and to become a dungeon master. So it's like, you know what? I love hearing people say that. And we talked for a little, and I told him how much I enjoyed his work. And I had a copy of my own parody campaign I'd written called D&D High. And I said, "Hey, I know this is a little weird. Would you be willing to sign this?" Because I specifically brought it because I knew Will Wheaton was going to be there. I knew Chris was going to be there, and I knew Scott was going to be there. And so I said, "Hey, would you mind signing it?" And he did. And right after he signed it, another RPG guy, this guy worked for Paizo, or Paizo, whatever it is. He came over, he's like, "Hey, Chris, how you doing?" And Chris is like, "Oh, hey." And they just start talking, and I'm just standing there. I'm going to excuse myself just to be polite. And Chris turns to me and turns back to this guy he's known for years. And he goes, "Hey, have you met my friend Jody?" And I kind of lost it because Chris Perkins just said I was his friend. And it blew my mind. He's like, "No, hi." And I feel really sorry. No idea who the other guy was. I kind of blanked at that point because all I was doing is going, "Chris Perkins said I'm his friend. Chris Perkins said I'm his friend." And I had a short conversation with him. And then, you know, it was over, and he had other things to do, and I wanted to go back to wandering around. I also got to meet Scott Kurtz while I was there, who is another just really amazing, wonderful guy. And I had him sign my thing too. I don't want to get up because I'd have to find it, but I still have the copy of that original parody game with their signatures on it. It's literally right over there behind all my other stuff. One day I want to get Sherry and Mike to sign it, and maybe Will, though I have my own issues with Will. And then maybe, you know, Morgan Webb and Anna Prosser and Holly Conrad and Patrick Rothfuss and all the other people that have played with them. I would love to have them sign this because that's what Acquisition Inc. was for me. The reason I started writing D&D High, and then later The Adventures of Meh, was because I wanted to be I wanted to be in Acquisitions Incorporated so bad, and I know it's never going to happen. I'm never going to be famous enough, or noteworthy enough, or anything like that, to be on stage with those people, and I'm fine with that. And I knew that close to, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago. And because I was never going to be able to do that, I made my own, and I'm really proud of it. D&D High lasted 2 seasons. They weren't amazing. I was new. I was learning. The audio quality is bad. The video is bad. But I did it. And the Adventures of Meh will hopefully someday return. Though I can't tell you when. But I made some amazing shows that people loved. And I'm really proud of that. And all of that is because of Acquisitions Incorporated. So the most recent episode was on Twitch. It'll be on D&D's YouTube channel within a week or two. All of them are there. Watch them. Just type Acquisitions Incorporated. Doesn't matter which one you start with. Though my personal favorite ones are the death of Jim Dark Magic the First, where that was one of the first big live shows, and was hilarious. The one where they go to Undermountain, and that was where the VR premiered on stage, is another really amazing one. And those are my two absolute favorites. Though the more recent one with Strix and them going, and yeah, that one was really good. Anytime Strix and Jim are on the same stage, it's amazing. Anyway, type in Acquisitions Incorporated. Check out a couple of the shows. They're 2-ish hours a piece, but you will laugh the entire time. Anyway, that's all for me, and I'll see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.